Oh my goodness.
Hello, my name is Valentin, and I am a designer and also a proud owner of every single Girl Scout cookie flavor this year. Why do I have these, you ask? I'm going to redesign every single Girl Scout cookie packaging from this year's lineup. It is a challenge that I am afraid to do because I am not the strongest when it comes to packaging design, but the whole point of this challenge is to learn something new and also to have fun. But before I actually start designing, I need to know exactly what I'm getting myself into. So of course, we have to do a taste test. Alright, here are all of the Girl Scout cookie flavors. I'm going to eat them with a chopstick because I don't really want to get my hands dirty, and I know some of these melt really fast, so... Wow, look at the sunlight shining on the cookies. I am gonna go in alphabetical order, so first up we have the Adventurefuls. These are brownie-inspired cookies with a caramel cream filling on top. Okay, it's very chocolatey. I don't really taste the caramel on top. Very sweet. Pretty okay. Next up we have the Do-si-dos. It's a peanut butter sandwich cookie. Yes. Now we have this cute little lemon up. These are lemon flavored cookies with some icing on the back. Oh wow. Usually I don't really like citrusy flavors too much, but this is actually kind of nice. The lemon flavor is not too strong. I think the icing works really well with the cookie because it adds some moistness to the dryness of the cookie. Yeah, not bad. Samoas is next. Samoas are a classic. These cookies are covered in chocolate and coconut. Okay, there's also caramel in it, which is really nice. I think these would taste better when they're frozen because they are a little chewy right now by itself. I am not the biggest coconut fan, but I kind of like these. So maybe I lied. Maybe I actually do like coconut. Next we have s'mores. These are cute because they're like a sandwich cookie with graham cookies on the top and bottom, and it's filled with marshmallow and chocolate filling. Yeah, that's really good. It is extremely sweet. I think that is the sweetest flavor I've tried so far. But when you get a s'mores cookie, you're kind of expecting it to be really sweet, right? So I think that's okay. Tagalongs are great because they are peanut butter filled cookies with a chocolate coating. That is fantastic. The Girl Scouts, they got that recipe right. All right, Thin Mints. Y'all know what Thin Mints are. They're minty, chocolatey, crispy. No words. All right, Toffee-tastic. I've never had these before. You know, actually, this is pretty good. It actually tastes more like caramel than anything. Last but not least, we have trefoils, inspired by the original Girl Scout cookie recipe. These actually used to be my favorite because I love shortbread. It tastes pretty classic. They are not really my favorite anymore because I think now they are a little bland. But overall, these are all really good. I'm going to list my cookie rankings on the side here, and I recommend that you all try them when you have the opportunity to. And support your Girl Scouts, of course. Okay, now that we have gotten a little taste of the Girl Scout cookies, I am now going to do a little research on the actual cookie program, mostly because I am not and have never been a Girl Scout before. So I'm first going to look at their official website. The Girl Scouts Cookie Program is the largest girl-led entrepreneurial program in the world. It has been around since 1917 and started as a way for Girl Scouts to develop valuable life skills. They have made over 60 cookie varieties in the cookie program's lifetime, but I was only able to get my hands on 9 of them. Onto the actual packaging, we can see that their boxes are actually very thoughtfully designed. On all the boxes, you can see that the layout is pretty much the same. There's the Girl Scout cookie logo, photo of the Girl Scouts in action. There's the name of the cookie, and a very clear description of what the cookie flavor is. There's a lot going on here. And I really like that they have a photo of the Girl Scouts on the front cover because you don't really see a lot of cookie box packaging with people on them. So you know that with the Girl Scouts packaging, there's a strong tie between the Girl Scouts and the cookies. And it's not just about the cookies, right? I also love how this diagonal cutout of the photo reminds me of a Girl Scout sash. I also think that the whole visual system is very strong too. Each box has their own separate color. For example, the Do-si-dos box is orange. I also love that the design overall feels very simple and contemporary, and it does not feel outdated. In terms of what I think could be improved, I know that each box was very intentionally designed for a reason, but for this redesign, I kind of want there to be a little more consistency between the boxes. And I say this because not all of the boxes are the same size. Toffee-tastic is in a very slim box compared to Do-si-dos. I'm pretty sure there's a reason for it. Like the size of the Toffee-tastic cookie is actually pretty different from Do-si-dos. But I think for my redesign, I really want to try to put them all in the same size boxes and just see how that goes. I also kind of want to try to go for a more illustrative look, maybe include some more illustrations or, hand-drawn elements to make it feel a little more custom and a little more human. My main goal with this redesign is to make the packaging a little more fun, and I also want them to feel a little more vibrant as well. Now that we have finished our research, I'm going to just dive right into it. I'm going to start with the word mark. Starting with Adventurefuls, I would describe this cookie as very bold and energetic, so I think I'm just going to start finding fonts. We have a few options here. I think this font is really strong, but I don't really like the sharp points on the N and the V. That doesn't really scream adventure. I mean, maybe it screams danger. Yeah, I don't know if that's the vibe I want to go with for these very friendly Girl Scout cookies, I think this font is pretty strong. I feel like it's a little too bold though, because Adventurefuls is a very long name. There's a lot of letters. I actually really like this font down here. I like how the E is a little rotated and these are all kind of square capped. I think I'm just gonna adjust the spacing a little bit. I think that is pretty good. Now let's see what it looks like with the colored background. I think I want to match the colors with the actual cookie shape, so maybe a brown background with an orange yellowish color. It looks pretty good. 1 down, 8 to go. Next up we have Do-si-dos. Do-si-dos, I would say, are very friendly and they are just delightful to eat. Actually, for Do-si-dos, I do have a font in mind that I really like and I think could be really suitable for it, and that is this font. I like how it's very bold, very playful as well, and I like the contrast between the super thick letters with the thinner hyphen. I think I want to adjust the spacing a little bit. And now we see how this looks with the background. It looks pretty good. Next up we have Lemon Ups. Lemon Ups feel very bright and cheerful to me, and it's also very optimistic, especially since they have these like inspirational messages on the cookie, like I am a leader, I am a go-getter. Let's see if we can find a font that matches that. I'm thinking maybe like curly fonts could be really cool. I'm surprised that I really enjoyed the Lemon Ups because I didn't think I would. I am a strong believer in trying everything at least once, even if you don't think you'll like it, because you might actually end up liking it. Okay, I think we got a decent selection here. I kind of like this font. I think it has really fun curls here that remind me of this lemon curl over here. I probably just need to adjust it a little bit so that it feels a little more tight. Yeah, this was really quirky. Okay, now let's see it with color. So what's interesting about the Lemon Ups is that the text on the box is green and the box is yellow. I think it was really clever to use green text because that sort of indicates a very sour taste, and Lemon Ups are pretty sour, so. Alright, next we have Samoa's. She's funky, she's edgy, very playful and tropical because of the coconut. Let's see if we can find a font for Samoa's. This was a little difficult because I wanted the font to have a little personality and a little funk. I'm kind of picking this one. It looks very clean and very elegant at the same time, but it's also a little funky, right? That's super cute. Actually, now that I look at it, I feel like it's not super legible from far away. Once I zoom out, the letters sort of blend in with each other because there's such a small gap between each of the curves. I might want to find another font that's similar and a little less thick. Maybe this one. It has a little less funk, but I think it's a lot more legible from far away. Yeah, I think I like this one better. Moving on to s'mores. S'mores are super sweet. They're also very warm and toasty. Let's see what we can find. I like this script font actually. It feels very comforting, you know? This is cute. I like this. Is there an apostrophe? I think so. I think there is an apostrophe. Now I'm just gonna make some tweaks. I feel like the colors here could be reversed because the main color of the cookie is like this beige, and then on the inside that's where the dark brown and the white is. Looks pretty yummy, if I might say. Now for tag-alongs, they are super smooth and chocolatey and rich. I want to try to find a pretty smooth font here. I kind of like these two. I think we're gonna have to go with this one. Just gotta make some adjustments. Yeah, this looks good. We are now down to the last three. Thin mints are pretty sleek, modern, effortless, refreshing, cool, crisp, and contemporary. This font looks pretty cool. Feels crisp. Let's go with it. Why not? It looks pretty good. Thin Mints is ready to rock and roll. So Toffee-tastic feels very rustic, I think, artisanal, if I might say. I kind of really like this font right here. I love the double F. Feels very soft and friendly. Let us try it. It looks pretty good. Fantastic. Or should I say, Toffee-tastic. Last but not least, we have trefoils. Trefoils? I'm actually not sure how to pronounce it. If you know, please let me know because I am probably embarrassing myself. Trefoils are super classic and very simple. Okay, I have a few options here. I know they all look the same, but they're all slightly different. I kind of like this last one. Like I like how this F is kind of curved. It just looks very friendly. Yeah. I can live with this. And that is the last font. Now I just want to see how they look all together and make sure that they look cohesive. Got s'mores, adventurefuls, tagalongs, do-si-dos, lemon ups, thin mints, toffee-tastic, trefoils, and samoas. They all feel like they have their own individual identity. Alright, let's move on to the actual packaging. So before I actually get started with designing and making the artwork, I made a custom box packaging printout. I don't know what it's called. I took inspiration from the size of the Girl Scout cookie boxes where the overall shape of the box is very slim and vertical. I went ahead and printed out my template. This is pretty small compared to the real Girl Scout cookie box because I printed this on a 8.5 by 11 piece of paper because that's the only paper size I have, and it's pretty similar. I think this size is pretty okay just because this is mostly just for personal use. And now for the actual design. I'm gonna go ahead and make the background the same color as the background that I have behind the marks that I made for each flavor. For example, Adventurefuls is gonna have this dark brown background. I wanna put this on the side here so that when you get all of the boxes and you kind of stack them on their side like this, like laid flat, you can see the names of the flavors on the side. Hopefully it looks cool. Let's see, and I think the front, of course, you need to have a picture of the cookie because you gotta know what you're buying, right? We need the description of the actual cookie flavor as well. I think we need to add some kind of shape behind this image. Maybe we can use the shapes from the Girl Scout badges. So the Girl Scout brownie badges are triangles. I think because this is a cookie that's inspired by brownies, I'm gonna add a triangle behind the cookie shapes. I kind of like that. I think it looks a little strange because triangles have this like pointed tip. I'm gonna rotate it maybe. I mean, actually, this is not too bad because it kind of like underlines the text above it. So there's the front. For the side, we have the nutrition facts. For this nutrition label, I actually kind of want to make it a little more colorful. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change the background to a dark brown, and then I'm going to make the outline the same color as the cream. I wish all nutrition fact labels were like this, but unfortunately, I don't think that's legal or accessible. I think for my redesign, I want to include facts about the Girl Scout cookie program because that seems pretty relevant. I think what I want to do is maybe add an icon for each of these skills. Yeah, let's just make some icons really quick for each of these. For goal setting, I'm going to make a target. I want them to look fairly illustrative because they kind of give off like a playful look to it, which I really want to incorporate more into these boxes. Okay, there's my icon for goal setting. For decision making, maybe there's a light bulb icon for that one. Next we have money management. I think for this one I might just draw money. Now we have people skills. I think for this one I'm gonna draw some speech bubbles. The last skill we have is business ethics. Maybe in this one it's an icon of two people shaking hands. I think that's what people in business do, right? They shake hands. Actually, I do like that. And I think in the bottom here, maybe you can add a picture of the cookie itself. It's kind of cute. I'm gonna add a little squiggle here just to highlight the 5 essential skills. And then we can add a little text box that says, every purchase supports Girl Scouts who make the world a better place, 1 box of cookies at a time. All right, looking at it at a glance, I think everything is pretty much good to go. I think maybe this left panel right here is a little empty. Maybe I'll add this cookie at the top as like another kind of indicator that when you like see it from the side, you can immediately tell what kind of cookie it is. Okay, cool. Maybe I'll add a barcode at the bottom because why not? I know that for barcodes it does matter like how long each line is. I'm just gonna randomly space out the lines because I don't think I have time to make a real barcode, but if I could, I would. Oh, actually, I want to see if do barcodes need to be a certain size? It needs to be a certain size in order to be scannable, and the dimensions have to be at least 1.175 inches wide and 0.816 inches high. I am a little off, but that is okay. Okay, cool. And I think that's really all I can do. Now I'm going to just apply this to every single flavor, and then we shall see where we end up from there. Hello! So, good news! I have finished all of the designs for the Girl Scout cookie packagings, and I've also printed all of them. So now I'm going to trim all of these and then fold them up into boxes, and then we'll do a little comparison between my designs and the original Girl Scout cookie packaging. So, it's very exciting. Look at the colors, they're all so pretty. I printed all of these on this cardstock paper so that they're all extra sturdy. Alrighty, all of the boxes have been trimmed and cut, so now we are going to fold all of them into boxes. But yeah, we are this close to finishing. So cute! 1 down, 8 more to go. The moment has arrived. We are finished! Yay! And here are all of the boxes. So in total, I spent about 2 days designing these boxes, and then I spent 1 more day to print out these boxes and fold them up and put them all together into the boxes that they are now. Wow, they're so cute! So for each of the boxes, I designed each of the sides like this so that when you see them stacked next to each other, they're all kind of aligned and all of their cookies show right side up. And then when you see them stacked this way, all of the names of the cookies line up too. And then this is the side where you open them, and then there's the barcode at the bottom. This makes me so happy! I think my favorite of these would have to be... I really love the font that I chose for Thin Mints and also for Toffee-tastic. They just look so modern and super clean. As you can see, my redesigns are very small compared to the original boxes. That is because I was on a mission to make these as sustainable as possible. So because these are smaller, that means I wasted less paper to print these. I'm always thinking ahead. Like I said in the beginning, packaging design is not my strong suit, but I did learn a lot about packaging design when I was designing these. Even though it was tedious, it was still pretty fun to do. About halfway through designing these boxes, I actually was feeling very unmotivated to finish this project because I didn't think that it was gonna go anywhere. But then I remembered the main reason why I started this project in the first place, which was to learn something new and to have fun with it. So I stopped caring about making sure that everything was pixel perfect and just decided that if this was all I could do, then so be it. And I think it really helped to see all of these designs printed out because after looking at the screen for so long, I think it's so easy to second guess myself and to doubt whether or not these would actually look good once they're printed out. But that whole process of moving from digital to physical was really important for me to keep in mind so that I didn't go too overboard and also just to keep myself mentally sane. But regardless, I hope this was entertaining, and I really did have fun with this project. I truly did. I'm excited to do more, and if you want to see me do more challenges like this, be sure to subscribe so that I know to make more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye! They're so cute! Wow, this is so satisfying. They kind of feel like Lego pieces. Like, I would love to just see a whole wall of these boxes lined up. Yay!